about how we can communicate with others through the use of language. How many languages do you know, and what did you do to speak a language? Everybody acquire an idiom since we are babies. This idiom is called first language acquisition, and it is remarkable for us. We learn our L1 unconsciously because of the caregiver speech. This could be mommy, daddy, granddad, grandpa. So, why is the first language acquisition so remarkable? There is one theory that says that there is an innate predisposition in the human, what it means that since we were born, we have the capacity to acquire a language. There are some basic requirements to acquire the L1. Interactions with other speakers, be physically capable, be able to hear the language being used. When we are babies, mommy and daddy becomes our teachers to communicate a language, like saying nana, wawa, popo, pipi. This is our first way to communicate during the first year known as babbling. This is when our sounds are the engine to make that the connection of the information that we get, the input, and the information that goes through. When we are babies, what we learn first basically are sounds, which has been describing as coin, particular sounds of e, nor, Around the 4 or 5 months of age, we pass for some stage, like the one-word stage and the two-word stage. On the one-word stage, the baby reproduces a variety of recognizable single-unit sentences like milk, cookie, cat, etc. On the two-word stage, babies usually use 2 words to create a sentences, like for example, mommy milk, mommy papa. When child reproduces a large number of sentences is called the telegraphic speech. This can be known as cat drink milks, daddy go. There is one age in which kids used to overgeneralize everything. As for example, you dances very well. I eats a hamburger. These kind of mistakes are allowed when child aren't consolate her or hears L1. Overgeneralization means that the kid is still learning his or her mother tongue. Something wrongly about this is when the child continues applying the rules wrongly when arrives the mature age. What it starts as learning becomes fossilization of the L1. Now that we have discussed what is the L1, it will become easily to explain what is the second language acquisition. Something that should be mentioned in this is that the L1 and the L2 are not the same terms, but it is also have something in common. L1 and L2 both are unconsciously. In this case, the environment will be the responsible of the learning. This kind of learning it is most common on bilingual child, and there are some motivations involved on the L2. Like for example, the acquisition learning hypothesis, the monitor hypothesis, the natural hypothesis, the input hypothesis, and the affective filter hypothesis.
Noam Chomsky, the creator of generative grammar, today is known as biologistics. Noam Chomsky focused on the instructional analysis of language. Human mental structure allows the production and understanding of any statement in any natural language, also allowing the process of acquisition. The main idea about Noam Chomsky, the creator of generative grammar, today is known as biologistics. Noam Chomsky focused on the instructional analysis of language. Human mental structure allows the production and understanding of any statement in any natural language, also allowing the process of acquisition. The main idea about generative grammar is that sentences are generated by a subconscious set of producers that are happening in our mind. Involves syntax. It's come from learning as acquisition and its differences in nature.
Language acquisition is Stephen Krashen's theory. Stephen Krashen, an expert in the field of linguistics, specializing in theories of language acquisition and development, Krashen's theory about second language acquisition include: first, the acquisition learning hypothesis is the most important of all the hypotheses in Krashen theory. There are two independent systems of second language: the acquired system and the learner system. The acquired system, it requires meaningful interaction in the target language and natural communication. The learner system is a product of formal introduction and is a conscious knowledge. According to Krashen, learning is less important than acquisition. Second, the monitor hypothesis. Explain the relationship between acquisition and learning. Is the practical result of the learner grammar. The acquisition system is the utterance initiator. The learning system performs the role of the monitor. This hypothesis takes into consideration three kinds of monitor users: the over-monitor users, the person verify every sentence they produce, then the under-monitor users. This type of people do not really care about correctness. And the third one is the optimal monitor users. They can use their learned competence together with their acquired competence. Third, the input hypothesis. How the learners acquire a second language. People acquire language by receiving comprehensible input. For example, helping someone to learn how to drive. First, show him or her how to do it. It will be input. Then, when the driver is prepared, he or she can start trying to do it. The fourth, the natural order hypothesis. Second language learners acquire structural items in a predictable order. This means some structures are more easily acquired than others. Fifth, the affective filter hypothesis. Affective variables play a role in second language acquisition. Learners with high motivation, self-confidence, a good self-image, and a low level of anxiety are better equipped for success.
Interlanguage, called known as a bridge between the L1 and the L2, and actually it is common between the non-native speakers. The possibility to make mistakes and transfer into fossilization increase when we overgeneralize L1 with the L2. Lack learning as phonology, morphology, lexical fragmency, and appear because of the wrong input. For example, in phonology, native speakers used to say chocolate, when the speakers used to say chocolate. Morphology, most of non-native speakers used to overgeneralize rule. Like for example, I think about it. Native speakers used to say I thought about it, because we have regulars and irregular rules for verbs in past. Lexical. When we talk about lexical, we can confuse some cognates. For example, nursery as the profession instead of say nursing.